This government has now messed up its coronavirus response on many fronts, and it is time to call for a public inquiry into this, a full public inquiry. Firstly, our country is on course to be one of the worst hit, if not the worst hit, country in Europe, let alone looking at the wider world. And that is not just because we are a larger country. If you look at the deaths per million, we are also ranking high on that. Two, this is without taking into account the non-reporting or underreporting of deaths in the community and care homes. And it is looking like there has been some deliberate oversight of that. So that calls into question the government's honesty in the reporting of this crisis. Thirdly, there have been several scandals, shall we say, of strategic failings, from herd immunity to dropping the contact tracing early on, to inadequate ramping up of testing, to the slow and lethargic non-committal response to shutting down and enacting social distancing when our neighbours across Europe were locking down. Fourthly, lack of providing the basic supplies to our frontline staff, whether they be the personal protective equipment or whether they be the right drugs and ventilators needed in our intensive care unit, despite the fact that we had domestic suppliers offering these to our Department of Health, and despite the fact that there were offers for us to join international procurement programs for these items. And this is made more criminal by the fifth point, which is there was in October 2016 a pandemic simulation which highlighted what that would mean in terms of bodies, in terms of personal protective equipment, and in terms of ventilators. And yet our government, this government, did nothing to act upon it. That's why we need a full public inquiry now, because never again can we say it is fine to call back retired elderly doctors to the front line to try and save our lives, only to lose theirs. Never again can we see our frontline NHS staff trying to take care of themselves and their patients wearing only bin liners and thin surgical masks that do not provide adequate protection when they are in high risk environments. This is why all political leaders and the public at large should be calling for that full public inquiry. So there's a petition out now today. It's already got thousands of signatures. The link is up there. I want you to sign it and share it as widely as you can, please. Email it forward to family and friends. You should also note that there is a letter out in the Financial Times today by leading peers and eminent healthcare experts also calling for a public inquiry. There is also today a letter, an article in Byline Times also calling for that. And this petition up here, this March for Change petition, is already being shared by some of those signatories on the Financial Times letter. So Professor Martin McKee, expert in public health, Professor John Ashton, expert in public health, are sharing this already. You should too. Please get it out there, because you can see the efforts coming together here to put the right pressures on government so that we can say never again are we going to allow our NHS and our public and our vulnerable to be exposed in such a way. Thank you. Please sign and share. Catch you soon.